the leading member of the Black Search.
Okay, I came with my sister.
Give us your full name, sir, Judy.
My name is Judy Chalmers.
All right.
And I came with my sister, Molly Blackburn. First of all, the car was found, and then we were taken to the car by the police and David Clatso, who was a forensic scientist, to look at the car. We were then taken with the police to where Sparrow Mkonto was found, near the SWAT Corps salt works, and explained a bit about what happened there. We were then taken to where Sicelo Mhlauli was found in the dunes. There was still blood on the bushes there, and we were then brought by the police to a site 40 years ago. But I'll tell you what I remember, to an open site which was quite a lot further along towards the houses. It was quite open, and there were still scraps of brown. Matthew Goniwe had been wearing brown corduroy trousers, and there were scraps of the trousers lying in the grass. But it was much further along, and as far as I'm concerned, there are houses there now where we went. It was far closer to the SWAT Corps River than this site is now, because we came along from that way, along the road, and then we walked. I can't tell you exactly how far, to where the open place was, and you could see that there had been burning there, and we were all taken there by the police to have a look at what was left of the remains of subsequent to the bodies having been taken away. But it was quite a lot further along.
Thank you, Mrs. Chalmers. You mentioned that your perceived site of where at least Goniwe might have been found was further up this road.
Yeah.
And you say that current site is not occupied by houses.
Yes.
If I heard you correctly, you said that some parts of Goniwe's pants were still there. Yeah. And how did you know that those were pants belonging to Matthew Goniwe?
Well, the police took us.
And did the police say that these were his
Well,
pants?
we could see, and I've confirmed with Mrs. Goniwe he had been wearing brown corduroy pants on the night he was taken. But of course it was some time after the actual event. Yeah.
How long perhaps? If you can recall, I appreciate it was 50 years ago.
I think it happened on the 27th. Then nobody knew where they were. And then I think the car was found on the following Tuesday. And then, have you not got the record of those events? And then they found Sparrow Mkonto's body, and then they found Mhlauli's body, so-called found. They may have known they were there. And then there was still no sign of Goniwe and Fort Calata. And then Eric Straydon, who was the head of police down here, they walked to, this was in the paper, the Herald at the time, to try to, because they thought they might be in this area as well, if my memory is correct. They walked to see, and then they smelled that there was something had died, and they came across the bodies.
Thank you, Mr. Are there any other questions?
I thought the point of these two witnesses and the third is to say from their recollection, this is not the point, this is not the site. And that's still important to do, even if we're still going to do a further reconstruction. And that's the only question I wanted to ask Ms. Chalmers, is whether where we are is the place where the bodies were found.
In my memory and in my recall, it was not. It was closer to where the houses are now. In fact, when we went back in Mbulelo and we did the spiritual, I remember being there, and we put a cross next to those houses because we felt that was the closest point that could be where the actual assassination had taken place.
Yeah. Mr. Goniwe will explain that to us, but can you recall how you happened to go to that particular spot?
The police took us.
Oh,
Sorry, Mhlauli,
Taken
before
by
Mr.
the police,
Goniwe,
myself, my sister Molly Blackburn, and Father Ted Molyneux.
taken by the police to the spot. Any more questions for Mrs. Chalmers?
Maybe just one question.
Yes.
When the police took you to the site, was it the day after
The day after what?
they were missing?
No, it was the day after. It was after they were found. After the bodies had been found and removed, the police took us. My sister was a public representative. She was an MPL in the part of the provincial government, and it was within her right to call the police and say we would like you to be taken to where the car was found, where the sites of the 3 bodies were found, and they cooperated and they took us to those 4 sites.
You can't recall the date.
No,
Thank you.
sorry, Ms. Chalmers, do you remember who the police officers were?
no, 20 years ago, no. But they were
Stationed at,
cooperative.
were they all stationed here at Port
I
Elizabeth
think
then?
so. I think so.
Mrs. Chalmers, there might be something else you could probably do to try and piece this together. You mentioned Sparrow walking around and being reported in the Herald. So those
Yes,
should
it was in the Herald. I can remember a picture of him marching with, and I'm not sure if the defence were involved, but with a line of policemen to look for the bodies. Because there was a question mark and major concern from the public and family about where the bodies of those 2 men were.
you've heard the discussion. Yeah, I have a few questions. Whether you've been to this spot before, and whether in your own recollection this is the correct spot where Mr. Goniwe's body and Mr. Calata's bodies were found.
Yes, the location I know, I was guided by Judy. So my information solely depends on her. Where we went to fetch the spirits, Judy showed us Bishop Paul Verryn was there also to conduct and it was definitely not here. Thank you.
And where, according to you, was the spot?
She showed us a spot this direction. It's a built-up area.
Do you know what that area is? Blue Water Bay?
Part of it is Blue Water Bay.
You can take us there now.
It is, yes.
Any more questions from Mr. Goniwe?
Nothing from us.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Goniwe.
I can see there's Mr.
Then Matthew and Fort were here, and then
When you mean here, not
not at this area, in the, Blue Water Bay, much closer to Blue Water Bay, the houses, and then the sand dunes. Yeah.
And you confirm that you were taken by the police to that same?
Yes, we came and did a cleansing ceremony and the return of their spirits.
Sorry, Mr. Verryn, by any chance, do you remember who the police officers were?
No. No.
And where they were stationed, possibly? Where they
No.
were stationed?
No.
Mr. Verryn,
One more question.
have you been approached before to show the sites where the bodies were?
No, I haven't been shown, approached before to show where the sites are. I was taken. I'd come down from Gauteng.
So you didn't know where it was?
No.
And who took you there the first time?
I went with Judy, Judy and Mbulelo, the rest of us went.
And can you give us a more or less a date on which
No.
you were there for the first time?
No, I can't. 2015, maybe a little bit, maybe before that. Yeah.
Years later.
Years later. Yeah.
Thank you.
Move to the next spot.
Sorry,